fans, it's almost 3 o'clock Central Time. Track time is going to be 3:50 p.m. in Miami. We're about 10 minutes from the qualifying session. Hi everyone, this is Grash, not Ryan. He's got a life. We've known that he was not going to be able to do this session, so I'm filling in for him today. He will be back for the race tomorrow, so he's not fired. He's not crashing into the wall. Make our bad jokes. But yeah, so at some point I should have one other person to join me, but we'll when they come, I'll announce them if they come. We'll worry about it. But yeah, it's G with the crash, not C with the crash. I'm not a PlayStation character. Thank you very much. So we're almost at 300 likes. If you again, there's about 1,300 of you watching right now. Want to thank you all. That is too much information. You guys have some interesting questions in chat. So again, 8 minutes ago, before Quali starts, what we know so far is essentially that the track is slippery. There's not as much grip as we expected, and that again, part of it is that the track is brand new laid down, and so you might lose it for tomorrow's broadcast. No, I can't do that. Ryan's going to control the broadcast tomorrow, so yeah. Moving forward. Basically, we know the track lacks grip, and they are putting down more rubber. And today was better than yesterday, and as we go through Quali, it's going to improve as well. So track evolution is huge because so little rubber is down on the track as it is. So that's one of the things that we are going to see. If I can get as we go forward right now, one of the things track evolution is one of the things that we're going to have to be dealing with. The other thing that we're going to be dealing with is that right now we have about 4 teams. So we can category the teams into 2 groups, and the first top 4 is the Red Bull, Ferrari, Mercedes, and Aston Martin. They take up about 8 of so they're going to take up the first top 8 spots. We know that somehow Albon is performing extremely well, and he is likely to be in that top 10, which means it's going to leave one more slot open to get into Q3. So Q2 is going to be like brutal. That who gets into the top 10 and why they're getting in the top 10 will be brutal. And you get a moment where a team like a Haas performs. You get a moment where Alfa Romeo performs. You get a moment where Tsunoda performs. That's where we start seeing. That's when we'll start seeing Russell dropping out in Q2, or someone else in those top 4 teams dropping out. If anyone has an issue at all, say like Verstappen has an issue, it's going to drop. So he'll drop out in Q2 for some reason, and then we'll see again one of those other teams jumping up into that group. So yeah, so that's one of the things that's going to be interesting is who is going to make it into Q3 out of that Q2. I'm just reading right now, and I must have missed someone responding to someone else, and I must have missed the first one. Just looking through chat for any questions that you might have. Again, if you got a question about ADL Auto Sales is saying, I'm wondering who will crash this qualifying. It is very possible. I don't think anyone might be. The way that they're driving now, they've gotten a better grip on track, but it is possible that anyone could crash at this point. Michael K, hello, Racing Friends. Hello to you, Michael K. Thank you for being part of the channel for as you have been for a while now. Some people think that nickel crows need to be woke everywhere. How's the American going to do on his own tour? It will be good for him. He may be out in Q1. I'll be quite honest. If he gets into Q2, that's a good performance. Q gets into Q3. If so, we're talking about Logan Sargent here. So if Logan Sargent and this will go for degrees as well. If they get into Q2, that's a good performance. If they get into Q3, that will be a great performance for them. So that's one of the things to keep in mind right here. Going into this race, we also are on we're on the softer. We're not on the most soft. We are on the softest tire is the C4 compound. So that's soft. Medium is a C3, and C2 is basically the hard compound for this week. So we're looking at a higher, on the higher end of softness with the tires. With that plus the grip on the track, that's where we're going. As we now get into about 3 minutes ago, hey Dan, how you doing? Thanks for showing up, my friend.
Yeah, welcome everyone. I'm back on the Racing Statistics YouTube channel for the Watchalong for qualifying. Excited for this qualifying, the all-important qualifying. And I think, of course, FP3 led us into it. And, well, some controversial bits happening in the end, too, in that session.
Not much, really. I mean, people were sliding, but that was as we expected that to have happened, but not as much as we expected. Yeah, I mean, like Q3 happened as Q3, and it wasn't like we had no incidents on track, major incidents. People turned, they went off track, but that they didn't hit the wall. We didn't have any red flags as we did yesterday, and that this is coming. What I said before you came in is that the track has been starting to rubber in. We're not seeing the outright skating rink we saw on Friday, but it's not still the grip, and trap evolution is going to be a big deal as we go across this qualification session.
I do like the vote that is out there. So if you haven't voted yet, everyone, there is a poll up. Who will take or who will finish higher of the two teammates? Will it be Lewis Hamilton in the Mercedes, or will it be George Russell in the Mercedes? An interesting one. And, well, personally, I think it's going to be Russell, but it could well be Hamilton with how closely matched those two have been this whole season long, during qualifying, during the race. You can't really tell, can you?
Yeah. Do you know what I don't see the poll, unfortunately. Do you know what the split on the poll right now is?
The split on the poll at the moment is 55 for Lewis Hamilton, 45 for Russell. That is percentages wise.
So earlier on, when we started the music, the split was, I believe, 66 Russell, 33 for Hamilton. So that has changed over the past hours. People have voted, so that's interesting.
Well, about 2.4 of you here at the moment. We have about 1.5K votes. So if you can, and if you do have an account, of course, we do respect all the people watching. And if you can't vote because you do not have a channel or anything, it's not an issue. But if you do have a vote, we would appreciate it if you do vote, to see just where the community is. And we always like to interact with you guys. Max, Super Max in there. We see Gasly the best. We see a lot of different drivers that are being supported. One that will be supported very well is on screen right now. Logan Sargent the hometown driver, lived about 20 minutes away from Miami. So if there's one driver who knows the streets of Miami really well, it's this driver. Now,
And
he was
he
quite a bit off
number
of his
one.
team in Alexander Albon. So he does need to kind of step up in this qualifying.
Logan is first in line, and he's the first one to go out on track. Which, hooray for him for getting in first in line.
Alex.
Is it Alex?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Alex,
One
and
of the
then I think his teammate.
Okay. Well, the Williams are out first.
As always. It's not a surprise, really, is it, Grash?
No, and that's their team MO to get out first. Again, one of the qualities that I've done was last year when was the Brazilian sprint race was Quali was a sprint race weekend in Brazil. And what happened is that Magnussen got out first. Second was Leclerc, and Leclerc was on the wrong tires, and so he was basically a moving chicane. Basically, Magnussen set a great time, and then there was a scenario. Basically, it was a yellow flag, and that basically then the rain came in and locked all the times, and Magnussen had pole. So there you go.
Well, Pierre Gasly, the French driver who had a terrible weekend, really. Baku will look to bounce back here in the streets of Miami. Now, a different circuit, a complete different ball game to where we were before in Baku. Wall still very close, but the circuit feels more like a natural circuit than Baku does. Baku is literally a street circuit. This is more of a purpose built.
It's more purpose built. I mean, it's a street circuit in name, but it's more purpose built because basically they're around the stadium, and they're not having to deal with, well, this is the road and this building here and building there type scenario. This more looks like Silverstone than it is like Baku in that regards. So we've got some times on the board. Bottas is coming around for his first lap. Albon is coming on his first fast lap. So we're about to get some times in a moment. So if you guys haven't subscribed, you probably should. We have a great time. We would like to see you come and watch us again. If you subscribe, you can get the notifications. Hit that bell. We go live for all of the practice sessions, the sprint race, the sprint quali, sprint race, here now quali, and the race tomorrow as well. We also have a Discord channel, and if you want to join us there, we continue the conversation after the fact. So right now, Albin is setting a lot of fast.
There are always things that pop up after this session, aren't there? And I think that place is a perfect place to kind of discuss them after the session.
I mean, there's things such as like I put up the race recap, the F1's race preview video that I do on Thursday before FP1.
Weekend warm-up, right?
Weekend warm-up. Thank you. Having brain fart. Weekend warm-up was I put that in. I regularly put that into YouTube. Zhao has gone P1. Bottas has now jumped P1. We're in the 130s. Bottas 129. We'll see. As it is, time is going to tumble quickly. Tsunoda P2, De Vries P4, Magnussen gone to P1, 129.3, and that again already time has already dropped. Ocon right now is the fastest P1, sector 1. Magnussen has a current sector 2, sector 3, but that will be as other people get onto the track. Verstappen fastest sector 2 now. Norris goes P2, Russell P3. And these are their first flying laps around the circuit right now. We will see them this tumble quickly as people come in. They'll come in. They'll either put on new tires or they'll do what they need to do to get a faster lap. Verstappen has now gone P1, 128.424. So that's a second and a half faster than Gasly in P2. No, that was Magnussen. Okay, Perez now gone P1, 128.3. So a tenth and a quarter faster than Verstappen. Gasly's P3, Ocon P4. That's the other thing that is interesting this year is Alpine has done very well this weekend. They have performed very well, and so that's one of the in the mix type scenario. Aston Martin has not performed so well. Granted, they're in P19 point, but they haven't set a time yet, so we will see. And who hit the wall?
Times will tumble though a long way, and I think that Cranky said that too in chat. Times will tumble. We saw earlier on this weekend, especially in the practice session, we were down to 27th. We're still at the 28th crash, so can't take too much out of these first lap times.
Yeah. So Hulkenberg, just a moment, he slid a lot. He almost hit the wall, but that was under that bridge section. That's part of the. So where they're racing, there is like a bunch of like part of the racetrack. I think at the end of. You see, end of the second sector 2, they're racing where that chicane goes on and turns into sector 3. There's on and off ramps to the low. There's a highway that is next. If you look where the track is, if we were to extend the image of the track a little bit more, there's a highway on the eastern side of the track. So the on and off ramps for that are coming in from there, and so that's where Hulkenberg was. Yeah, Hulkenberg hit the wall. He slid. I think he tapped it, so it didn't a strong. It was a slid. On the map, sector 1 is in yellow, sector 2 is in red, and then sector 3 is in blue. So where the blue, where coming to yellow, that's the finish line. And we are live right now. Those hot drivers drive every so minute. So after a couple minutes now, we've got 10 minutes left in the session. Perez is top of the board. Leclerc is P2. Verstappen's P3. Sainz is P3. Gasly's P4. Zhou has just jumped to P6. It was Ocon before. Bottas has now jumped to P6. So now Ocon is P9. Albon is 9th, and Magnussen is 10th. Aston Martin have still not set a time. Hamilton is in P17. See who else. Other interesting is we've got the McLarens as P11, P12 with Piastri faster than Norris. Tsunoda's jumped to P13, splitting them now. So again, we're now seeing those times tumble. Just trying to think. Albon is 10. Alonso's now jumped to P4. He has a fastest sector 3 so far. So that is interesting. That now we'll see where Stroll comes in. Stroll comes in P10. Magnussen, I think, jumped up to P5. Stroll was 10. He's just jumped down to 11th. Hulkenberg jumps to 11th, dropping Stroll down to 12. So again, people are improving on their times, and they're jumping all over the board as this goes on. Hamilton, P20 right now. Trying to figure out what is going on, why he's down there so far.
Russell 18 too.
And he's in the pits too. That's something that is what is going on.
Oh, there we go. We're getting a replay of Lewis Hamilton. What has he exactly done? Did he lock up? No traffic on his quick lap, and he touched the wall on the right-hand side. Traffic in the form of a Haas driver immediately says, check the front right. I hit the wall, so goes immediately back into pit lane, but that might be qualifying over for Lewis Hamilton.
Race control incident report. Magnussen impeding Hamilton. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see what happens. So it has been noted by race control.
YouTube FN says Hamilton damage ? Could be. With the contact that he had in the wall, these cars are quite sturdy. They can take some hits, but it was a hefty hit. Russell, crash.
So at least we have a reason for Hamilton. What is Russell doing in P18? This is why we come and watch, because this is the stuff that happens.
He's right now we've got sector 1 crash.
Again, Magnussen's up in P5. So we've got Zhou we've got the Alfa Romeos in P9, P8, P9 right now. They're moving forward. Piastri's number 15. He's on the bubble right now. Tsunoda, Norris, Russell, De Vries, Hamilton are the ones in danger right now, which is crazy, particularly with Mercedes. Russell just is now on a flying lap. He's just set a fastest sector 1. He has improved in his sector 2. He did have some subsectors that were the fastest.
Well, Verstappen purple in sector 1 too. He's going for it again. So he might jump up to that provisional pole position. However, it doesn't really matter in this session. Leclerc purple in section number 2. So all top 3 drivers going at it. Perez, Leclerc, Verstappen, all 3 on a lap. Fernando Alonso behind that, going for another flyer too. So we might have the top 4 going for another quick lap to Russell across the line and gets himself up into P8. So Russell back where he belongs. Sainz in P7. It's all very close.
Magnussen up P1. Leclerc has just jumped to P1. He's got the fastest time of 127.895. But Verstappen has the fastest sector 1, sector 2. He's in his sector 3. He is improving on his time, but not the fastest sector. Just looking.
Wow.
And he goes P1, fastest sector 3, 127.365. So he's half a second faster than Leclerc already. Sainz jumps into P3, 128.131. And then Perez P4. So again, Perez now jumping to P2. But he is 4/10 slower than Verstappen.
That was a close moment with the Ferrari. I think that was Carlos Sainz who pushed him to the outside wall. I think some miscommunication between both of the drivers, but that was very close between the two. K-Mac also has had a little moment that was coming out of turn 16. That was very close to the outside wall, which is something that we do see a lot. But Hamilton out on track 2. So he's improving on his sector 1 time. So it seems like his car is all A-okay.
Well, he's going to improve on his sector 1 his times because his only lap out there was trash. So it's interesting right now. P1, P2 is Red Bull. P3, P4 is Ferrari. P5, P6 is Aston Martin. Magnussen is 7th, and then the Alpines are 8, 9, and Russell P10. Hamilton on his first proper flying lap. He's about to finish. He jumps to 10, pushing his teammate to 11th. So again, we got Piastri is P15. Sargent Albon, Tsunoda, Norris, De Vries are all in the danger zone right now. We're trying to see Stroll has improved, Alonso has improved, Sainz, Leclerc, they've all improved on their times per se, but not any change in position right now. Ooh, we're getting a replay of Hamilton at the moment. He went over one of the curbs and took a bump. It was a bit of bumpy there for a moment. And then we've got Albon jumping up to P5 now, so shaking up the board right now. So Mercedes are out of the top 10 right now. Let's see who's in. This is looking at Max. They're putting on they've just taken off the reds. They're going to put on probably a new set. They've got Checo outside they're bringing Checo in. So with, again, 4 minutes left, basically people are coming in.
They should be safe. Let's be honest, Crash. They should be safe. The Red Bulls.
They should, yeah. I think they're gonna sit back and relax a little bit. Probably. I don't know. It's more about pride at this point, about being on that top of the board. Alpine are in the garage right now. Well, McLaren are in the garage right now. The McLarens are the ones that need to get out there and get really good laps because both are in the danger zone. Both of the okay, so who just moved? Tsunoda just jumped to P8. That was one of the things.
Hulkenberg up to P4 too.
Oh, wow, P4 for the Hulk. 124.957. Magnussen on your P13.
The Hulk returns, Crash, to the streets of Miami. What a lap time from Nico Hulkenberg, a 127.957. Absolutely amazing.
And Bottas is P5, only a 10th slower than him.
De Vries up into P8 De Vries might well have a very good weekend here. Tsunoda, his teammate, is down on P10.
That's about time for De Vries to have a good lap and a good time. So right now, Gasly is the driver at risk. Hamilton, Russell, Sargent, Piastri, Norris are the ones in the danger zone.
Bit of an unsafe release there, I think, with Nico Hulkenberg and one of the AlphaTauris. That was a pretty close one. I think Leclerc is going for another push lap. He is. So Leclerc might jump to the top of the timing sheets, like we said, in FP1, FP2, and FP3. FP2, there was no coverage, sadly. But FP1 and FP3, we said that the track will be evolving this whole weekend. So being out there as late as possible is going to be a big, big thing. Hamilton down in the drop zone. But Crash, I want to talk about this field spread. If you don't count both of the Red Bulls, then all the field back to Logan Sargent in P18 is within a second.
Pretty much, yeah. We can throw out. Well, no, we have to go back to Bottas because basically Hulk and Leclerc. Hulk just did a 127.9. Leclerc did a 127.8. We go back. Yeah, we go back. How far back do we go? 187. We conclude Perez. They're within a second of each other, which is crazy. Traffic is going to be a big thing, and again, we saw some of that already with people impeding other people. So see right now. So we've got 2 minutes left. So this is pretty much you're going to see these final laps going right now. Norris going right now on a fast lap. He's got to pull something out massive to stay. He's right in P20. He needs to jump massively right now.
Both McLarens really are down the order. Sargent is improving too. He's going to come across the line to take his improvement. His teammate Alexander Albon is up in P8 at the moment. A10's back on the leader Max Verstappen. Sainz pops himself up into P2. Leclerc also an improvement. He stays in P4 behind Sergio Perez. But where does
Sargent goes P13?
Put himself up into P13. That is well done from the man who lives about 20 minutes away from it. Norris, green in Sector 1. Green in Sector 2 is improving where he needs to, but he has a lot to find in that McLaren.
Hulkenberg just jumped to P6. So we've got right now Verstappen, Sainz, Perez, Leclerc, Magnussen, Hulkenberg, Bottas, Alonso, Albon, De Vries in that top 10. Norris jumped to P11, so he's safe right now. So Zhou is the one in danger right now. Ocon, Gasly, Hamilton, Russell, Piastri at risk right now. They're all, again, who just jumped. Sargent, who jumped, De Vries. Albon, Zhou just jumped. Ocon is now P6. So again, Sargent is now at danger.
Crash, both Mercedes are down in P18 and 19. Just want to touch on this real quick. They're both improving, but they're down in P19 and 20. They need an improvement. Otherwise, we could see both Mercedes out at the bottom of the standings. Well, Russell gets his improvement, jumps up into P10. What does Lewis Hamilton? Sir Lewis Hamilton, what does he do? Jumps up into P6, performs when he needs to. But they needed to put in a good lap. That was very tight for both Mercedes.
And so session's over. We've got some who's left. So again, so De Vries at P15 is most likely going to survive. He's got it. He's going to get into
He's not on a quick lap anymore.
So I guess I don't believe Norris is on a quick lap. No. So notice he's already finished. It's only Sargent. He's not on a quick lap as well. So yeah, this is De Vries is going to make it into Q2. Albon, Zhou, Alonso, Russell, Gasly, Hulkenberg, Ocon, Bottas, Hamilton, Magnussen, Leclerc, Perez, Sainz, and Verstappen. They're all going into Q2. Those who are being eliminated, both of the McLarens. Sonoda, Stroll is being eliminated. That's an interesting. Aston Martin and Sargent's getting eliminated. He's going to be P20, which is unfortunate for him. Again, only a quarter of a second between him and De Vries's time. We look at
the whole field. If you take Verstappen,
the whole field
within 9/10.
So, yeah, if basically P1 through P15 are within a second of each other. Everyone who's being eliminated have times just above a second. Norris 1.03, going down to Sargent 1.2 seconds slower. That's not that much. That is huge. Yeah, I mean, we wanted closer racing. We've got closer racing.
Especially around these streets of Miami, it's proving to be a very special track for these cars. I haven't seen it this close anyway this season so far. Let's listen to Logan Sargent real quick. Well, Logan Sargent, very disappointed with the fact that in his home race, he lived about 20 minutes away from it. He is all the way down in P20. Last position on the grid for him tomorrow. Meanwhile, his teammate Alexander Albon also struggling in P14. Not as quick as that Williams was last time round at Baku. Yuki Tsunoda out for the first time, has been out qualified by his teammate Nick de Vries. If Yuki Tsunoda makes it to the end of the qualifying session, of course, I think was once back in the second round of the championship when I think he went, he went into the wall and Nick de Vries finished ahead of him that way. But this is the first time that Nick de Vries on merit has defeated Yuki Tsunoda.
And that is a step forward. I mean, he is the back of the pack.
He needs it. He needs it.
He needed. This is a step forward for de Vries. In fact, he's got into Q2. That's important here. Is that he has got into Q2. That's the first step. Can he get that AlphaTauri car into Q3? Is the next question. That is going to be tall order. Again, we've got Stroll out of here, so that's a spot that I talked about Aston Martin being that top group. That's one of those spots pulled out of the way. Another team, but where and Alonso's P12. We literally can pull out Aston Martin for this race and put in Haas because they're P5, P9 right now, and they've looked good.
Or Alpine, because they're quick too.
Alpine. They're P8, P10. So that's this is going to be interesting. Who gets in? It's going to be rough.
Well, we know that Aston Martin has a quick race car. Qualifying trim usually not one of the quickest sessions for that Haas car. So
someone in chat is saying that Sargent has 2 home GPs to prove himself for people. No, he has actually 3. He's three. When you call home races in terms of country, he has 3. But be honest, the race that he is from Florida. So this is actually his home. When we talk about home and being where you've come from, he's from the Miami area, from the greater Miami area, I should say. So he knows. So this is his home race. Yes, Austin and Vegas are technically USA and home, but when we look in terms of Americans, we would not. He's from Florida. We would not call Texas or Nevada home for him. So that's the American viewpoint of what's going on here. This is his home race. This is where he's from. Again, when you back up, typically I'll take this one moment. But basically,
through the end of the pit lane, both of them, Max Verstappen first. After that, it is Sergio Perez. Verstappen 3.5 tenths ahead of anyone else in Q1. Can he repeat that same thing in Q2 and in Q3, where it does matter for those cars? Let's be honest, Crash, for Red Bull, Ferrari, Mercedes usually, and Aston Martin, it's just about getting through to Q3 and just performing when they need to. But it seems like at the moment, especially Aston Martin, is having some issues with that.
So one of the things that they've got that returned to the shows. That there were pools in one of the hospital areas. There are pools, and this year they have brought inflatable F1 cars that
Oh,
go in the
God,
pools,
yes.
and they are adorable as heck. If I could buy, if I could know where I could buy one of those, I probably would. Q2 is about to start in a second or so.
There we
One of
go.
the Red
Green
Bulls up
flag for
front.
the pit lane.
Yeah. So the Red Bulls go out first in Q2.
Well, Crash, expectations. Who do we think is going to be dropping out of Q3? I will go first. I say Sue, Bottas, Albon, De Vries, and sadly, I think the Hulk is going to.
I disagree with you. I think Hulk is going to go into Q3. I think we're going to see Red Bull, Haas, Mercedes, and Ferrari in there. Alonso's probably in that group.
Let
And
us know in chat too. What do you guys think? Give us
and I think
5
Albon's probably the last
drivers
one.
who you think will go out in Q2. So drivers that will not make it into Q3. Let us know in chat who you think will not make it in to Q3. Give us the 5 drivers who you think will be out of Q.
You know,
Well, will be out of qualifying.
I think we're due for a surprise here. I think we're due for maybe one of the Alfa Romeos getting in. Seeing both of the Alpines maybe getting in. De Vries is a possible. I mean, I could easily see De Vries being a surprise entry in Q3 for some reason.
I hope so as a Dutchman. But yeah. I don't know. It would be very good for his morale, though, if he can do that. It would be very good. It would help him a lot, and I think it would kickstart his season a bit. So in some way, I do hope for Nick de Vries as a driver that is possible for him. However, the realistic mind in me thinks that no. For Nick de Vries, I don't think the car that he's in and the state that he's in at the moment, it is going to be possible.
So we've got a bunch people talking about different other series like IndyCar, NASCAR, the Rally, IMSA, whatnot, and that's interesting that conversation is going on. Is this going on? This is happening. Steiner Raga asked, "Does it ever rain in Miami?" Yes, it does. It does rain in Miami. We have a chance of rain and thunderstorms later on in the session. But it looks like the way things are looking right now, that it looks very clear right now. So we may not get rain today, but there is a chance of getting rain as this goes on. There's a greater chance of getting rain on the track. And if that were to happen, that would wash away all the rubber that's been put down. So that's one of the things to keep in mind as things go forward.
Now,
where's Zhao? Zhao is
27-1.
on. Sorry, Zhao's on track. Sorry, what were you saying?
Max Verstappen has gone to P1 on a 27-1. Perez in P2, 27-3. Russell P3, 28-1. And Zhu P4, 28-7. Times are coming in thick and fast now. Perez has the quickest last sector. Verstappen, the quickest first 2 sectors. Looking at what De Vries can do, he is not out on track yet. I think, yes, he is. Yes, he just came out on track. And he's going to try and pop in his first lap time. Gasly, Ocon, De Vries, all out on track now. Hulkenberg, Magnussen, Hamilton and Alonso, all setting lap times now. Hamilton pops himself up into P5. Hulkenberg goes into P4. What can Magnussen do, though? Across the line. Has about 2 more milliseconds to go. And across the line for the Hulk. Where did he pop himself up into? Behind ahead of his teammate into P4. Hulkenberg P4. Magnussen P5. Those Haas's crash absolutely flying.
That is the twist that we're seeing this weekend is the Haas is up there. The problem with Haas is they qualify well and then they don't have the race pace, and that's the one thing I want to make. And Adamant was pointing out Haas home spirit. Haas is an American team. They're owned by Gene Haas, who is an American. he's also part of in the United States. He's also part of NASCAR. He's half of the owner of Stewart Haas Racing. Tony Stewart being the other half of that NASCAR team, the legendary NASCAR racer. So we've got Russell and Hamilton P6, P7, Zhou P8. De Vries now setting. He's on a flying lap. He is improving on all of his time so far in his on his previous lap. Ocon has jumped to he's in ninth. Trying to think who else has jumped.
I think that Galaxy has pointed out something that has been very apparent this season. He said if they could do it in the race, though, that Haas car, good over one lap, but over a stint, struggling a lot. Now, if they can start in the top 5, both of them, they have a solid base to work from. So
De Vries right now he's P11, no set time yet, but he's improved on all of his sectors. He's green up across the board, which is what we want to see right now.
For sure. Well, he's going to be coming across the line in about 20 seconds' time, so we're going to see what he's going to be able to do. Nick de Vries also in P11 at the moment, like we said. Where is he going to put himself up into? Because the Dutchman needs it. Can he go ahead of Zhu Hamilton or Russell across the line? Nick de Vries on a 129.359. And let's be frankly honest, Crash, that is a bit disappointing.
That's considerably slower than
he is 7/10 off of Zhu ahead of him in P8.
Ocon has just now jumped to P4, the 127.647. So he needs to find second somewhere. That's where we're at. Science has set a couple subsections in P sector 1. Albon has a fast sector, mid sector. So these are people who are flying laps. Science has taken the fastest sector 1 now.
Let me tell you who's bouncing back. That is Sainz. Last week at Baku, absolutely demolished by his teammate in practice, the sprint race, the sprint qualifying, and the qualifying, except the race where he was kind of there with his teammate, and even there, finished behind Charles Leclerc in the race. But Carlos Sainz this weekend has been consistently quicker than Charles Leclerc, and has said, okay, if you challenge me, I'll step up to that challenge. And he's purple in sector number 2 as well. Carlos Sainz might well go to the provisional pole position. However, like we said, pole position not going to be given out in Q2. So it's Q3 that is going to matter for the Ferraris, the Red Bulls, and the Mercedes cars. And Carlos Sainz, if he can just put himself up into that first position in Q2, will just boost his performance. He cannot, though. 38 thousandths of a second behind Max Verstappen, and he's doing well to at least keep close. Charles Leclerc 4/10 off of Max Verstappen, so that means that with Carlos Sainz 38 thousandths behind him, he's about 3.5 tenths quicker than his teammate that he was 8 tenths slower than in both the sprint qualifying and the qualifying last week.
So we're at 7.5 minutes left in here. Right now, Russell, Hamilton, Zhou, De Vries, and Bottas are the drivers in the danger zone. Magnussen at risk. His teammate Hulkenberg is P9. We are talking about times less than a second. Hulkenberg is 0.793 slower than Verstappen. So we're talking. Literally, Magnussen is like 1 second less than Verstappen right now. So this is what we're talking. We're talking about the difference between a second being in Q3 and not in Q3 right now, and that's probably going to get closer as we go closer and closer to the end of this session.
I still once again think that Max Verstappen is safe in this session. Can we see a 1:26? We're already about 1.7 seconds quicker than we were last year here during qualifying, and that was in Q3, optimal conditions.
Yeah, I think right now, I think P1 through P5 is safe. Like Verstappen, Sainz, Perez, Alonso, Leclerc, they are safe. Ocon is probably safe. Albon marginally. This is where we start getting marginally safe now. I mean, now we're talking within a quarter of a second between Albon, Ashley, and Hulkenberg.
Let's get the wall on the entry to turn 4.
Oh, that's going to ruin that lap.
Well, he improved on that lap, but he was about 3 tenths down on his first, well, the sector time that he put in on his first lap in sector 1 was about 3 tenths quicker. So if we take the lap in this session for Perez, Crash, that means that Perez will be ahead of Verstappen.
So there's what's called fatheads, essentially here in the United States. Basically, they are huge cutouts of people's heads, and there are two fans jumping up and down with ones of Joe and Bottas at the moment. Joe right now on a fast lap right now has improved in his first sector, and so he's improved in his first sector time. Bottas also improved it. He's also got fastest sub-sectors.
Quicker than Zhou in sector 1, so that's an interesting prospect.
Trying to see who else right now. Everyone is on track right now, save. So the Ferraris are on track. Albon's on track. And the AlphaTauris, I'm sorry, Alfa Romeos are on track.
So it's all Ferrari-powered cars, except Alexander Albon, who's up in P7, Crash.
Oh, boy.
Absolutely unbelievable.
He has been consistent putting himself in that top 10.
Remember that his teammate is all the way down to P20 in his own Grand Prix.
That is, I don't know what to say. It's his rookie year. That's all I can say. Zhou has jumped to P11 and Bottas has jumped to P6. So this it's putting, so right now Zhou needs another fast lap. Magnussen is P12. Russell and Hamilton are P13, 14, DeVries P15. Magnussen, Russell, they're all coming out on an outlap now. The Alpines on an outlap. Alonso on an outlap, and Verstappen is on an outlap. So expect to see some fireworks going off in the next minute or so after they get around the lap.
De Vries, Hamilton, Russell, Magnussen, and Zhou need an improvement. So does Hulkenberg. He's on the cusp of being knocked out in Q2. So he needs an improvement too. Gasly is out on track too to set one of his quicker lap times. 27.81 at the moment for Pierre Gasly. A 2-minute warning is out there. So Zhou at the moment has colored red. Magnussen, unsafe release.
That was dangerous. Oh, the Haas got out in front.
That was Nico Hulkenberg.
We'll see. That will probably get noted by the stewards. I don't know if they'll do anything, but
Leclerc purple sector 2.
What is going on with Mercedes? Are they like they're 13th, 14th right now?
They're on different.
They got out of elimination last round with their last lap as well.
They're on a different run compared to everyone else.
I'm one of them is not making it out. If this is where they are right now, I'm also got a bad feeling that one of them is not.
Leclerc has dropped up into pole position.
Ooh, 126.9, but 964. Verstappen's just taking the fastest sector 1. He started sector 2 is super fast. So he is on track to take that top position.
This is absolutely unbelievable.
Looking down, Alonso's doing really well. He did well in his first sector, improving in his sector. Magnussen is improving. Magnussen is flying in his second sector. He's only a 10th off of Sainz. Verstappen did 32. He's only 0.3 tenths off of Verstappen in the second sector. Take a look at what's going on. De Vries coming through. He's improved in his first sector. Has he improved enough? He's 4/10 off of Verstappen. He is. Ooh, that's 8.8. He's already a second slower than Verstappen. That's not good for De Vries. Verstappen takes P1 to 126.81. Alonso goes P3, faster sector 3, 127.097.
Well, Verstappen, I thought that gap would be bigger. If we look at the timing, it tells me that in sector
And
2, he lost a lot of time. Purple sector 3 for Fernando Alonso, who jumps himself up into P3, does all he needs to do to freeze across the line, gets himself
time,
closer to that cutoff, but let's be honest.
time is expired. De Vries, Hamilton, P13, he is out. Hulkenberg, P12, he is out. Gasly, he is going to jump up to P8. He's going to be safe. Zhou does not improve. He is going to be out. Hamilton, Hulkenberg, Albon is still out there, but I think he is not on a flying lap. So yeah, no, I think we've got our eliminations now. It's going to be Albon, Hulkenberg, Hamilton out in Q2, Zhou and De Vries. Yeah, that's seeing Hamilton go out in Q2. That's crazy, my friends. And Russell's just barely, only by half of a tenth by Albon. Russell's only faster than Albon by half of a tenth of a second. We almost saw both Mercedes go out. Wow, that's crazy. This been a crazy session already. Dan, you there?
Yes, well, I was looking at
Okay.
Lewis Hamilton, listening to Lewis Hamilton, and well, he got oversteer a rough lap, and that is the risk that Mercedes was taking. And well, let's be honest, it feels like Mercedes got a bit too cocky this weekend with the run plan that they've had. Russell barely getting in there, Lewis Hamilton having trouble too because he was so late, couldn't go for a second flyer. So yeah, a bit sad. However, Nick de Vries did well, fought well in the end. Car not good enough to really fight in qualifying number 2, and he is out. De Vries, Sue, Hamilton, Hulkenberg, and Albon out of this session. And I do think that I did say that this was going to happen, except I think I changed one of the Mercedes out for one of the Alpines. I don't know.
They're showing a track dominance on, and for the most part, Hamilton had more sectors, was better in more sectors, but where Russell dominated, he must have picked up a lot of time because there was like only 3 sections of that track dominant map that Russell dominated over Hamilton. That's interesting. So here we go. We got Verstappen, Leclerc, Alonso, Sainz, Perez, Ocon, Bottas, Gasly, Magnussen, Russell in Q3. For those who want to take stock in Hamilton, Bottas is going to qualify better than Hamilton in Miami.
With this track, ladies and gentlemen, I would just like this time to remember you, and you too, Grash, because it is a lot of talking that we are doing at the moment. Stay hydrated, because the track temperature, especially if you are in Miami and you're watching this, it is very hot at the moment. Track temperature 50 degrees. So, stay hydrated out there. It's very important. It's good for yourself. Look after yourself, because if there's one thing that is more important than Formula One, it's your own health. So look after yourself, hydrate yourself, just like I'm going to do now.
I was about to say I need to get water myself as well. So yeah. If you got a chance, go get a drink. This Q3 is going to be interesting. We've got a mix of people of unusual suspects. Looking through chat right now, a lot of people are disappointed in Mercedes now. MI upgrades are the only hopes. Some people are saying Hamilton's a disappointment. You were going to say that anyways. Him coming out of Q3 is that, you guys were going to say that anyways. You were saying that last week. You're saying it the week before, and you've been saying it all last week. Here, so.
Well, the people that have voted earlier on Russell, which was less of the people. Of course, I think it was 44% Russell, 56% Lewis Hamilton. The 44% was right. Russell is going to out-qualify Lewis Hamilton. And for the first time, one of the two is out in Q2. So George Russell doing an incredible job there, Grash. Putting his Mercedes up into Q3. Only by the skin of his teeth, though. It wasn't like it was very comfortable. Now, we have about another 4 or 5 minutes to go until the start of the last qualifying session, the session that is going to matter for those drivers at the top. You have to say, Verstappen has been looking mighty once again this weekend. Leclerc, Alonso, Sainz, Perez, they just haven't been able to get close. However, the fact that his teammate is out now with Alonso qualifying in P3 and Q2 makes it all the more embarrassing for Lancelot, a lovely driver from Canada, Lance Stroll, who sadly was out at Q1. Don't know why. It was a bit of a strange one. However, it did happen, and you can't refer back to it.
It was a tight Q1. I mean, basically, Sargent was only a second and a quarter. I mean, Sargent was out in Q1. He was only a second and a quarter slower than Verstappen. So it was just, and it's been all the times have been tight. I mean, if we look at we take out between Albon to Debris, that's only a half a second between those two.
Yeah, but it's still Crash. We were running 20. Well, Alonso was running 27.2.3. Verstappen, his quickest lap in Q1 was a 28 something, I think, a 28.3. So there is no excuse for Lance Stroll. I think maybe Aston Martin just getting a bit too confident and not putting the power and the ECU mapping that they needed for that qualifying session. It could have been a lot.
We have a green flag in Q3, and Red Bull's coming out.
Yes, Red Bull.
They're the first one to come out, it looks like.
Yeah, Red Bull out first, then Alonso, then Ocon, then Magnussen, Russell. Now, I do expect the Red Bulls to be out last at the end of Q3. They're usually what they usually
they're gonna
do.
Go, I mean, like right now, the only ones who are not out right now is Leclerc, Sainz, Bottas, Gasly. Everyone's doing their out lap. So again, what we're going to expect is we're going to see Verstappen, Perez set a basic time, come into the pits, and then go out to finish the session and to dominate at least for Max, to dominate the board. And we just got a creepy look at Daniel Ricciardo in the Red Bull garage. Those of you who are watching, you know what I'm talking about. It's going to be a meme. Going to be meme material at some point.
Oh, for sure. Knowing this, knowing this F1 community, it won't take long until that has been made into a meme. However, we have now got into the crunching point of this qualifying session. Q3, Alonso being warned that the wind is picking up a bit. So he will be looking out for that too. Not any car that is particularly sensitive to the wind, but any changes in wind they can feel, and it will change the balance of the car. Will that have any effect, though, on Max Verstappen, who's now going to start his first lap in Q3, Grash? Would it have any effect on the double world champ?
I don't think so. I mean, that was an outlap. So he's now he's about to do his first flying sector 1.
Yeah.
And he's set
30.8. 30.8, Grash. The quickest we've seen there so far is a 31.
No, we saw better. Perez is doing 28.9.
Verstappen's lap is done. Verstappen's lap is completely done. Verstappen had a huge oversteer moment on the exits of sector number 1. So Verstappen is done. It's going to be Perez who's going to get a purple section number 1. But Verstappen all over the road there.
So Verstappen is going to abort his lap. The boarding his lap right now. He's going to cool down, and he's going to probably try another either this lap or the next lap. Leclerc right now. I'm trying to think who's. Sainz is about to finish their lap. No, they're finished, starting a new flying lap. Perez right now, purple across the board. He's purple across the board to the moment. Fastest sector 1, sector 2. He's purple so far through sector 3. Alcon taking one of those sections. So Perez setting a 126.841. That is our first proper time in this session.
Well, a 26.8. Well, I think Sainz can do that too, with our previous session taken into account. However, doing it under pressure is something else. Ocon, though, with a good lap time, only 3/10 off, or 9/10 off, excuse me, for Perez. Alonso 3/10 off on a 27.2. Russell in P4, 9/10 off behind Pierre Gasly.
So here we are right now. Alonso is a P2 with a 127.2. Magnussen half a second slower than that. Gasly within a tenth. Sainz jumping to P3. Russell is P6 right now. Again, we're all except again Verstappen, which has not set. He has not set a time yet. Sainz is not a time. Bottas no time yet.
Well, Leclerc 7.
And that's with the fastest second sector as well. So he's lost time. He's lost time elsewhere. He's almost a full second off of Perez. Crazy. And this is, I believe, they're re-showing what happened with Max. Yeah. There was a wiggle in that. He went wide. There was a wiggle. He didn't have full control of the car. So.
And then once you got onto the curb, I think going through, I think it is turn 6, 7. Where once you get on the curb, it unsettles the car so much you can't really keep it in a straight line. Leclerc also having a big lockup in the last sector. Otherwise, he would have been a lot quicker. So that's why he's a second off of Sergio Perez.
So right now, Alonso and Gasly have gone into the pit. The only ones out are Sainz, Magnussen, and Leclerc right now. Where is... So as of right now, both Bottas and Verstappen have not set any times. I'm not even sure if Bottas has gone out on track, to be quite honest.
Bottas has not gone out on track yet.
He may be just sitting there and being happy at P10. And it may that he may be calling to not go out on Q3, which is that is unfortunate.
Well, maybe they just go out for a last run in Q3, which is what we usually see teams do that are Alfa Romeo or Haas. They use 2 sets in Q1, they use 2 sets in Q3, or in Q2, and then in Q3 they can only use 1 set, and they then go right at the end to try and get the best track state and track temp.
So right now, Perez on provisional pole with Alonso behind him, Sainz P3. We're 5 minutes to go. Yeah, Electro Mecha Shinobi saying Gasly's doing a great job. Yeah, right now Gasly's P5 and his teammate is Arcon is P8. Yeah, this is Alpine finally showing up and having a good race.
Well, where is Verstappen going to go? I can see that someone says Perez should crash right now.
Yeah, that was just that. Well, you should see that message has been deleted, and then and that person's been timed out.
There we go. I was going to say that's
I am a mod on the channel as well.
It's never nice to wish for people to crash. I think the way that answer was meant though wasn't the way that if he crashes right now, he gets pole position, and Verstappen is P9 on the grid. So, but then he also has a damaged car and might have to start from pit lane and does not get anything. So, then still, I think that would be just utterly stupid from Perez if he did that.
Yeah. So he is out. He is in the garage right now. Once he's just come out.
Track, new set of tires. Last chance. 1 shot,
Right.
and it needs to be right, Crash, because else it's going to be starting way down the order.
Everyone has entered onto the track. Several of them. Right now, we're seeing everyone doing pretty much outlaps. Even Bottas is out on track now. Finally. So we're seeing them all do their outlaps. So in about a minute or so, we'll start seeing those flying laps begin, and that, yeah, I think when we see those flying laps, I think those are going to be the flying laps of this session. I don't think anyone's going to get back around again to do another lap.
Well, Charles Leclerc, one of the first ones to come across the line to start a new flying lap. Like I said, Ferrari's out first. Behind that, the Red Bulls all the way at the end. It's Verstappen, Bottas, Perez, and Magnussen, who will be all the way at the end to start his lap. Leclerc has gone off. Leclerc has gone off. Leclerc is stationary on the exit of turn 6. I can see it on my driver tracker. Leclerc might have gone off. Once again at turn 7, he has hard into the wall for Charles Leclerc. And that might be Verstappen down in P9.
He's hit the tech pro barrier.
No, he's out.
He's out. He's out.
Red flag.
And he's also hit. Yeah, that's a red flag. He's hit the tech pro barrier. Yeah. So basically, we're not going to get. Yeah, we are not going. They're not going to continue the session.
I don't know.
With a minute 36 left. No.
A lap is 1:26. A quick one.
Yeah, but they've got to do an outlap. They've got to do an outlap.
Yeah, but if they get across the line in time, then they can finish their lap. So technically, they would have enough time.
No, I don't think. Nope. Q3 will not be resumed.
There we go.
There's not enough time.
The end.
So Perez is going to take pole. Someone in chat said if Magnussen gets a pole position, you're making your firstborn, Kevin. Dude, you have to already. He took pole at Brazil last year. Sorry, my friend. Yeah. No, I mean, like that was. It is what it is. So Verstappen is not going to get a lap in. He is going to be P9. Bottas is not going to get a lap in. He's going to be P10. So Perez. So way things are, Perez is going to be P1. Alonso is going to be P2. That's your front row. Sainz is going to be P3. Magnussen is going to be on the second row in P4. Gasly, Russell, P5, P6, row 3. Leclerc, Ocon, row 5. Verstappen and Bottas in the 5th row. Verstappen starting P9 because he can't get the lap in because of the red flag.
Well,
That's
the first time we've seen
this
Leclerc
is
off this
why
weekend.
we watch what happens, because crazy stuff happens.
It's Miami, so what else are we expecting? K-Mag, we have to give it up for him. Second row of the grid.
Second row of the grid. Bravo to Haas for getting Matt. Yeah, both Magnussen and Hulkenberg have these moments of flashes, and this is the moment of flash for Magnussen right now. This term, and it's amazing. Yeah, I mean, like, and we're watching what happened. Did he go hit? Oh, he hit the curbs and it bounced him up, and he lost the back end of the car, and it just went flying, spinning around, and backed into the tecto barrier.
It was all or nothing for the Monegasque, and in the end,
he does a 360, and then there's this moment where he's rolling forward, and he spins another 180 into the technical barrier. It's an interesting. For those who are going to see the highlights later, this is a major highlight. It's a cool moment. It's a major highlight.
Now I am a bit. Of course, I don't know the rule book out of the top of my head. But also for Leclerc, of course, this is massive out of this qualifying. But for Ocon, this is massive, way off his teammate. For Russell, he could have maybe gotten up into the top 4. Verstappen, way down the order. Technically, they would be able, once the light goes green on pit exit, to go around and take the lap.
No, that's true, but we need more than 90 seconds. We need more. They're doing like a 126 for a flying lap. You got to remember that they're going to go out of pit row and do a out lap, which is going to take much longer.
Well, who says that an out lap takes longer? They make it take longer because the tires come in better that way.
Yeah, but they have to. Yeah, but that's the point of the out lap, is to get the tires up to speed.
But they don't have to do that. It's not a regulation that you have to get your tires up to temp. They can push whenever they want. You get what I mean?
But if the tires are not up to but the tires are not up to temperature, then that's the point of the out lap, is to get the tires up to temp. And if the tires are not up to temp, then you have less grip.
Well,
if there were three minutes left in the session,
even just
I could
2.
see them.
I think even just 2, they would have.
Yeah, if we needed another minute on the clock for them to restart the session, because they've got to get around, because everyone's got to, you've got to see how many people are going to get around. Yeah, because one car can get around. Again, one car could get around in that time. Yeah, it's one of those moments here where I don't think anyone, like, yeah, we could restart the session, but no one's going to get around out of the pits and get around in time for that session.
I don't know. It's a tricky one. It's
the right call.
Yeah,
it's the right call.
Yeah.
Ultimately, this is the right call. What this means tomorrow is that we've got a mixed up race here. I mean, we've got Hamilton in P13, we've got Verstappen in P9, We have, Magnussen at P4, Gasly P5, Ocon P8, Leclerc is P7, Sainz is P3. I mean, Alonso's P2 with Perez on the front row. I mean, this is so this is you guys wanted something to shake up. Hey, we've got a shake up right here.
So before we go out at the end of qualifying here, a quick run through on how the drivers will line up tomorrow for the race. Perez will start on pole position ahead of Alonso, who completes the front row. Sainz and Magnussen, third and fourth. On the second row, Gasly and Russell on the third row ahead of Charles Leclerc, who possibly might be starting for pit lane, might take a 5-place grid penalty. We have to see how that gearbox is looking. Ocon in P8 ahead of Verstappen in P9, who will need to come through the field again. Bottas in P10, Albon P11 ahead of Hulkenberg in P12. Hamilton P13 ahead of Sergio P14. De Vries for the first time making it out of Q1 this season, in P15. And 16, Norris. Tsunoda 17, Stroll P18, while his teammate is up in P2. Piastri in P19, and Logan Sargent, the hometown hero living about 20 minutes away from here, will start on the back of the grid. But if there's one driver who will have the support tomorrow, Grash, to fight through the field, it is Logan Sargent.
Sargent. Well, that he will get that hometown crowd for him. I think Magnussen also is going to get a little bit of, because Haas is an American team owned by an American. Not like they act like it, but they are. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Williams is owned. I mean, Albon's going to get a little bit of that rub because Williams is owned by an American organization as well. So, Albon, Sargent, Magnussen, Hulkenberg will get a bit of a rub up. Sargent mostly because this is his local town, but I think Magnussen, because he's in P4, he's going to get a bit of a that will be part of the discussion. I think over the next 24 hours for the race. So,
well, that's a very interesting qualifying crash that has come to an end. If you want to discuss any further, there is a link to the Discord in the description.
And in that dropped in chat.
Exactly, Crash dropped it in chat. So if you haven't yet, though, subscribe to the channel. Consider subscribing. Turn on the bell for these notifications for once we go live. And, well, Grash, I think a very successful qualifying for Sergio Perez, who once again is on the front row, and he's looking fired up and ready to go.
Cranky Bullion just said what I was thinking. We could have a new championship leadership tomorrow. If Perez is on pole and he wins, he will be the championship leader at the end of the race, and he's in position to be the championship leader right now. So they're going to make that championship fight really interesting as we go forward. A lot of people are saying if Perez wins here, it puts him in a legitimate challenge for against Verstappen. But you got to remember, back in 2011, it was Verstappen. Verstappen had well, no, actually, not 20. It was last year. Verstappen came. At this point, Ferrari was ahead in the championship, and it was from Baku and Miami forward where Red Bull started winning. So no throwing out Verstappen for not having bad luck today and having to pass. If Perez, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting as it goes forward. As we come to a close, again, it's been Dan in here and Grash with you for qualification. I want to thank all of you for watching. We just broke over 700 likes. Thank you so much. Tomorrow for the race, Ryan will be back. I want to thank you all for letting us do qualification with you and putting up with us. I know we're not your usual quality person, but we hope we did a good job for you. Is there anything else we need to do before we take off, Dan?
No, I think a big thank you to everyone for having us. We, like Grash, we know you're not your usual qualifying watch along, but it's been amazing to be here. Our socials are down in the description from both Grash for me, Instagram and YouTube, so have a check on them too if you do have the time. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow during the race.
See you tomorrow, race fans.